Hello everybody, this is Warm Light Tarot. Welcome to today's reading. The topic is, do they miss you? And it's up to you to decide who this person is that we are talking about. It could be your ex, a friend, an ex-friend, family member. Could be anyone. Before we get started with the pick a card or pick a pile section, just wanted to say that I've been a bit ill lately, and that is the reason why I haven't been filming and posting so much lately. I'm getting better, and I hope that you won't hear my slight foolishness in my voice, and if you do, I hope that it doesn't bother you. So as usual, please take in only those messages that you resonate with and leave out the rest, okay? We have 3 piles of cards here today. Pile number 1, it is marked by this Chakra Pendulum. And pile number 2 is marked by this elephant incense holder. And pile 3 is marked by this ring. I don't know if you are able to see it. It has these lovely stones here on the side with, I think this might be sandstone here, but I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so now I will give you about 10 seconds with these piles so you can see which one you feel most drawn to. And as usual, if you need more time than that, please just pause the video, okay? Hello pile 1, you chose the Chakra Pendulum, and here is your deck of cards. It is the I forgot what it's called, the Star Spinner Tarot deck. So let's see what your cards tell us today. So let's look at these cards that I pulled that represent the past / the current situation, so you are able to see if this reading is meant for you, meant for your situation. So this is the past / the current situation. We have the Queen of Swords here, 4 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, and 2 of Cups. So I feel like one of you is this logical, intellectual Queen of Swords character here. They're a bit distant. I feel like it's this person that you are inquiring about, at least for most of you. And they have left you, or if they're still in your life, they leave you longing for more. I feel like there is a sense of stability in your relationship, or you achieved this point of building a foundation in your relationship. But the 4 of Pentacles also represent stagnant energies. So it could be that one of you was holding on really tight, and that kind of I don't want to say that it stopped the progress, but it might have influenced this Queen of Swords person here, who, I mean, to me the Queen of Swords is always someone who is very independent, maybe even avoidant. They like to stay away from emotions. They rely on their logic. They can be a person who is afraid to commit. On the other hand, it is possible that those characteristics don't apply to your person. In that case, they just like to, they rely on their logic and they don't really show their emotions that readily to you. So you were building something together. And unless they met someone new, because this is a card that is really good for relationships, especially for love relationships. So in case they met someone new, I feel like they're still in your life in some capacity. You know, there's attraction still, there's love. I feel like this could be an on-off relationship, like on and off again, you know, or maybe a situationship that never really became a committed relationship despite this attraction there. Or maybe this person is still, like, maybe you're still dating. It's the beginning of a relationship and you're just curious to find out, like, if they miss you when you are apart. I don't really see anything like super bad happening in this dynamic. Okay. So now we get to the question that you've probably been waiting for. So the question, do they miss you? Let me just move this a little bit. So I pulled 3 cards to see what the energies are surrounding this question. So the first card that I pulled is the Lovers. So it tells me that yes, they definitely miss you. Especially if this is a love relationship, or it could be any kind of relationship, you know, there's this pull between the two of you. So yes, they do miss you. I also pulled some other cards. So we have the 8 of Pentacles and the 8 of Swords here. So with the 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Coins, I feel like maybe they feel tied down with work or whatever responsibilities they may have. Or it could be that they are kind of focused on improving themselves. They're someone who's very serious and committed to what they do. So that includes relationships. So I kind of feel like even though they miss you, they need to feel worthy of your love. So that could be like focusing on their career and making it worthwhile, or focusing on their, personal growth to feel like they are deserving of love. With the Ace of Swords, I feel like there's a sense of clarity and truth happening. So swords are about communication, and I kind of feel like it's possible that they're thinking of letting you know. Like if you're in no contact, for example, it's possible that they will let you know. They will let you know the truth. And aces are also typically like some sort of inspiration or a message coming from somewhere. So it could be that they will text you or call you or something like that. But I feel like it will come after they've reached a deep level of understanding about themselves and this relationship. Like they feel like they need to do that work before they can like let you know that they miss you, or if they want you back in their life, they need to prepare for that in some sense. I checked the bottom of the deck, and it was the Eight of Swords. So to me, the Eight of Swords is always about limiting beliefs. Like, this person here is trapped by their own negativity and they feel like they can't get out. So that tells me, or like what I said about this person improving themselves or working on improving themselves, I feel like a part of that work could be to deal with like unwanted thoughts, like negative thoughts, negative self-talk, things like that. So if they're not moving towards you, it's because they feel trapped by their own mind and by whatever limiting beliefs they may have about themselves and maybe about the world, things like that. So the next 3 cards that I pulled represent the outcome or the future. So let's say like 2 or 3 months ahead. So these cards don't tell what's like happening like in this relationship for the rest of your life. It just means like what's coming in the coming weeks or months, possibly. So we have the Hanged Man, the Devil, and the 7 of Chalices with 4 swords as the bottom of the deck energy. So I feel like things remain the same. So the Hanged Man is all about kind of like wait and see. It doesn't mean that nothing will change, since the Hanged Man is also about a change of perspective. So while they may not act or do anything right now, it doesn't mean that they're not thinking about you or about this relationship. However, for the time being, I feel like it is definitely a wait and see situation. There is a strong attachment between the two of you, like a lot of passion, but it can be an unhealthy type of attachment, like obsession and addiction. Like maybe one of you is like checking the other person's social media all the time, or things like that, or you just have this type of relationship that neither one of you can let go of the other person. I feel like there are multiple options for how things between the two of you will go, and maybe that also plays in why they're not really like, if they miss you and they're not in, or if they're not in your life and they miss you, as it seems to be the case. I feel like sometimes they're dreaming and fantasizing about how things will go, and sometimes those dreams are very lovely and sometimes they're very nightmarish. Like they're not really sure what they're getting into with you. So if they're not contacting you, it's because of that, probably. And with the 4 swords as the bottom of the deck energy, I feel like it's a card of rest, so things definitely aren't moving forward. Like these both cards tell me that things really aren't changing, and I'm sorry to say that. So while I think that they may be rethinking things, I don't really see them contacting you like straight away. Like I said, they probably have to think things through if you are in no contact right now. However, things always change and you are also free to act. So for example, if you wish to get back in touch with this person, feel free to do that. I do feel like you have the 2 of Chalices and the Lover's card here, so that tells me that you have a really strong bond. Okay, so lastly I pulled 3 oracle cards for advice from the Chakra Wisdom oracle card deck. I pulled 2 cards, so we have Gratitude and Quest here, And from the Sigil Oracle card deck, we have a card called Spectrum. So this card is for your third eye, and this is for your throat. So I feel like these cards are all about like expressing yourself and kind of like seeing further than what meets the eye. So you are just looking further than just to the present moment, like here and now. So it's about seeing and expressing yourself. This one right here is, literally this card in the guidebook is titled, "I am so glad that you are in my life." So this card is all about, unconditional love in your kind of relationship to yourself, to other people like friends, lovers, family, and appreciation of yourself and others. And the quest is about, discovering the truth and facing the truth and, taking risks on your journey, just being courageous. So if you're wondering about this person, like you're here thinking like, do they miss me? Maybe this doesn't resonate with all of you, but it might be worthwhile to tell them like what you appreciate about them and how grateful you are for having them in your life. Or if they used to be in your life, you may tell them that, all the things that you appreciated about them back then, if that feels appropriate to you. And since this card is about discovering the truth, so if you're wondering about them, like if you feel like you want to contact them, and again, if it feels appropriate, it could be worthwhile to be courageous and just contact them, Of course there are risks, like I don't know your situation like in specific, so make your own decision of course, but I feel like this is what these cards are telling you. And the spectrum is about kind of like being open to other perspectives and kind of like showing empathy towards other people and growing through learning. So you're, maybe if you are not in contact right now, maybe you had like differences of opinion, or kind of like something happened where you were not able to see eye to eye about something. So this card encourages you to, be open to their perspective. However, if you feel like you didn't get this treatment from them, in that case, I feel like these cards are talking about how you should treat yourself, like appreciate yourself, face your own truths and your own journeys, be courageous and grow and learn so that you are able to, go into the world, be yourself, but also meet other people as themselves. So you're open to that. Something like that. So, part one, that was your reading. I really hope that it provided you with some clarity. Thank you so much for watching, and if you feel called to do so, please like and comment and subscribe if you haven't done that already. Thank you so much for your support. Till next time, bye bye. Hello pile 2. You chose this elephant incense holder. And here are your cards. So let's have a look what they tell us today. So the first 4 cards that I pulled represent the past or the current situation, depending on where you are right now. So it could be like the distant past, the recent past, or things that have just happened. And these cards are able to, or they should tell you whether or not this reading is meant for you. So if this resonates with you, it could be that this reading is meant for you. Okay? So we have the Nine of Cups, Ace of Swords, Five of Cups, and the Five of Swords here. So the Nine of Cups is a card of fulfillment and happiness. So I feel like your relationship or your connection, it was going really well. Maybe it was like a dream come true for you. So you were extremely happy and satisfied with everything. Maybe just you or both of you. Then we have the Ace of Swords. And swords, they can really hurt you. So this is a card of truth and clarity. But if you learned something unpleasant, or they broke up with you or something like that, in that case, that truth or clarity, it hurt you. So this is like kind of a tricky card, because it's a very, like I said, it's a card for the truth. So if you are really like learning something positive, it's a great card. But if you learn something negative, it's not a great card at all. So I feel like there was something that really hurt you. So maybe you guys broke up, or you learned something about this person that you didn't like, or there was an argument and there were like harsh words being said. Could be anything like that. And whatever happened, one of you just couldn't get over it. I feel like it wasn't the end of the world, like not everything was lost, because this card also has a sense of hope to it, but it's a card of pessimism. So maybe you or this other person was just focusing on those things that went wrong, and they weren't able to move past it, or you weren't able to move past it, and it just led to more arguments, possibly. Like, this is a card of it's a card of winning. So this person here won this argument, but when you think about arguments or fights, there's no real winners. Like this argument here, or this battle, it could be that this person alienated all this other person. Like, he won, but it's a very empty victory. And we have 5 here and 5 here. So 5s are all about challenges. So I feel like whatever has been going on in your connection, it's been filled with challenges lately. So the next card, this is the question that you've been waiting for. Excuse me. So I pulled cards to answer the question, does this person miss the person asking this question, or the person that I'm doing this reading for? So that is you. So we have the King of Pentacles, Ten of Wands, and the Devil here. So the King of Pentacles is a yes card. I would, based on if I were doing like one card readings, I would say yes. These 2 cards here tell me that this person is kind of like happy, fulfilled in their life. Maybe they're financially well off, like maybe they have a business or a good career, maybe even like a good home life, but they still like struggle, and they struggle alone. They feel very alone in the world with their responsibilities. So something tells me that this person may have moved on from you. Like maybe they actually like have a family, or they miss someone else. That's not necessarily the case. It could be that they're just like, you know, like a single person who's really happy and fulfilled with their work, but they're not really dating anyone. They don't have a partner, or they're not dating anyone right now, you know. There's no one like that in their life right now. And then we have the Devil, and that tells me of attachment. It's a very strong attachment. It's not necessarily a negative thing, like it can be a very passionate bond, but it has a sense of like unhealthiness to it as well. So we could think of someone who is addicted to another person, like maybe like checking your social media all the time or stalking you. Nothing like super bad necessarily, but there is a strong attachment, and it's not necessarily like the good kind of connection. I guess it depends on like, you know this person better than I do, so you're able to say, is this just like your regular strong attachment or like the unhealthy kind? But yeah, I would say that yes, this person does miss you, and they may feel quite alone without you. So next I pulled cards to represent the future. So these are like outcome cards, but these cards represent like the next, let's say 2 to 3 months. So the coming months, not like the rest of your life or anything like that. So things may change from this, but kind of like what's coming up very soon. So we have the Page of Swords, the Hierophant, and the Star. I feel like one of you is hoping to communicate with the other person. Pages can be about messages, so it's possible that you will receive a message from this other person, but it also goes the other way. So like if you want to contact this other person and you feel like it's an appropriate thing to do right now, you know, I feel like you are encouraged to contact them if that is what you really want. Then, well, the Hierophant and the Star, you know, the Hierophant to me is always about like dedication. It's a very serious card. Like I feel like they take your relationship very seriously. They're kind of dedicated to you, committed to you. So it could be like, if this is an ex, it could mean that you will get back together, or it could mean that you continue your life separately, but they still have this very very strong feeling towards you. Like I feel like you belong together. Like I said, it may not mean, it's possible that it doesn't mean that you will end up like dating and end up in a relationship. But the Hierophant is like a commitment card to me as well, because it's like dedication, belonging, things like that. Marriage even. So that could be in the works for some of you. And then with the Star, there's a sense of healing. So whatever happened here, I feel like you are able to move past it and achieve this sense of like healing yourself and healing this connection, your relationship. It does require some work on your behalf and on behalf of the relationship, and it may be a long process, but I feel like there is hope for you guys here, definitely. And lastly, I pulled some oracle cards for advice in your situation. So from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle card deck, we have these cards, Impasse expansion, and from the Sigil Oracle card deck, we have a card called Void. So this card is for the sacral chakra. So I'm thinking, since it's called impasse, so that there's some sort of emotional blockage within you or within this relationship. Like maybe something happened here and you are not able to move past it because you're just like blocked. This card is all about like finding another path to reach the same destination and just being, you know, adaptable and flexible on your journey. So maybe whatever you've been doing before, it's not working and you just need to rethink certain things. Maybe your reactions in relationships, in this relationship, in this connection. Maybe your reaction towards, you know, whatever happened before, like an argument or whatever it was for you. And then we have an expansion, which is also like a card of moving away from the old way of doing things. So I definitely feel like there's something blocking you. There's something blocking the two of you in this connection. And you need to find a new way to go around it. Like if you know, this whole reading is for, does this person miss you? And I feel like it's possible that they do miss you. But if you want to be with this person, you need to figure out how to do things differently. Like I feel like if you go back to your old way of doing things, you will just repeat the same pattern. So at this point you need to rethink everything. If there are any blockages, you know, anything that keeps repeating in your life, you need to look at it and work at it. This card is also about like collaborating with people who are able to help you on your journey. I feel like in this case it could be something like a therapist or a psychologist. Like often relationship patterns, they have a lot to do with our past, with our psychology. So in that case, like I feel like that could be a really kind of like strong contender for where to turn to. Then we have a card called Void, it represents potential and infinite possibilities. You know, this corresponds to the Tower in the tarot deck, but it has a special meaning of using destruction of the old to create something new. So again, I feel like there's this theme of like needing to stop doing things the same way. Like if you want to move on, if you want to move forward, if you want to get back to this person or continue your life without this person, you know, whatever your plan is, you just need to kind of like rethink things, look at your patterns and start working on them, start healing yourself, because you will be able to build something new for yourself. But if you keep doing things the old way, you will keep building this, you know, the same old stuff over and over again. Okay, yeah. That was an interesting reading. I really hope that it was useful to you and that you enjoyed it, despite me going on about, you know, being really passionate about these last cards. So yeah, that was your reading, pile number 2. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you feel called to do so, like and comment. I always appreciate hearing from you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. I always appreciate the support, and you will be able to keep up to date with my latest readings. So thank you so much for watching. Till next time, bye bye. Hello, pile 3. So you chose this ring and this deck of cards. This is the light gray tarot deck. So let's see what your cards tell us today. So these first cards that I pulled represent the past or the current situation. So you can see if this reading resonates with you, if this situation sounds familiar. So this, whatever is going on here, it could have happened in your past or, very recently, or, it could be something that is going on right now in your life. So we have the Seven of Swords, the High Priestess, Queen of Swords, and the Seven of Pentacles. So first we have the Seven of Swords. This is a card of like deception, betrayal. It could be like cheating. And that is all that is at its worst. It doesn't necessarily mean something's that bad. It could also mean like lack of communication, or like they didn't really show their true face to you, so it felt like they were wearing this mask all the time with you. Or since this is a card of like leaving or sneaking away, it could be that they just left. Maybe they ghosted you or something like that. They just stopped returning your messages. I feel like the experience kind of made you turn within. I feel like you are really kind of like strong on the outside. You're very kind of like sharp, maybe even a bit distant. You're very intelligent and shrewd. However, inside you're very kind of like soft and intuitive, dreamy even. I feel like that is what happened with you as a result of this relationship or this connection. So you kind of turned in because you want to grow and you want to learn, but it probably hurt you a bit as well. So you're showing the world this kind of like maybe even a cold front. The Queen of Swords is like, she's very in tune with her emotions, but I feel like she can seem very distant and cold to some people. I feel like that is you, probably. Then we have the Seven of Pentacles, so it's sort of like a wait and see card. It's a card of like uncertain future. You've done your work, but you don't really know what the future will bring, but you're kind of patient about it. You're not too disturbed about it. We have two sevens here, and sevens are typically about like challenges and obstacles, but also about like individuality. So I kind of feel like these cards here, these 2 7 cards, represent you and your person's like individual selves. Like maybe this masked person is this person that you are inquiring about their challenge was, or is that they're not really brave enough to show their true face, or maybe they did something shady because they're not really connected to themselves in a way that they would, like let's say that they cheated or deceived you in some way. They're not really connected to themselves like the High Priestess here is in depth. So they were able to do that because they're not really connected to their sense of self in a very strong way. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles here. I feel like that could represent you, like you are a person who is not afraid to kind of like learn and grow and go to places and kind of meet your own self, like even your shadow side. Like maybe to the outside world you show this very strong facade, but at the same time you're like really soft inside and you're not afraid to kind of like admit it to yourself and to just, you know, grow and learn. So then the next cards tell us, do they miss you? Does this person miss you? That's what I asked the cards. So we have 3 cards here: the Hanged Man, 9 of Swords, and 2 of Pentacles. So do they miss you? I would say maybe. I feel like they are looking at things from a different perspective now, and they feel lonely and haunted by this relationship, or maybe by what they did. Like, let's say if they cheated, they feel haunted by it. But also it's possible that they're just lonely. Like, if they're that type of person that they're not really like regretting hurting you, but they're actually just alone, and that makes them feel worse than what they did to you, if that makes sense. So it kind of depends what kind of person they are, because I feel like with the 7 of Swords, it can go either way. They can be this really kind of dodgy character, or they can be just someone who's maybe like very shy or very repressed, or like a very scared person, and that is why they pushed you away. So yeah, it kind of depends, like what kind of, like, you know, you probably know this person better than I do, so you're able to, you know, tell what this card is about. Are they lonely because they're alone, or do they feel this way because they hurt you? So the 2 of Pentacles tells me that maybe there's a lot going on in their life, or because this is a card that juggles different things. So it could be like, you know, it could be like work and love, but I feel like in this situation, like maybe they have someone else in their life already, and that is why I pulled a clarifier. So it is the 8 of Cups, which is a card of walking away from something that you've built before. So I feel like maybe they are thinking of walking away from this other person, or if they walked away from you, they might be rethinking that decision. I feel like this 2 of Pentacles is about like up and down emotions and thoughts. Like, so do they miss you? Yes, sometimes they do miss you, but not always. The Hanged Man and the 2 of Pentacles, they're kind of like cards like this. Like, maybe, you know. And then, excuse me, I pulled 3 cards to represent the coming months. So these are like future cards, outcome cards, but not for the rest of your life or for the rest of this relationship, but rather, you know, for the coming months, like I said. So we have the 10 of Wands, 3 of Wands, and King of Swords. And the 10 of Wands tells me that either them or you feel very alone, and like you're just like struggling. It could be you, like if you're still thinking about this person. It's possible that this is you, and you're also this 3 of Wands person here. We're kind of waiting on this person. Like, you're not really doing well. It could be that your life is just super busy, but it could also mean that you are really struggling in this connection, and maybe you're thinking about like what went wrong, like what happened exactly, like particularly if they ghosted you or they just left. You're just left waiting for answers. The 3 of Wands also represent long distance relationships. So I feel like maybe some of you are in a long distance relationship. So maybe this is not an ex or anything like that, but maybe an existing relationship. That's possible. So then we have the King of Swords. I don't know, something tells me that, you know, you're the Queen of Swords and then this other person is the King of Swords. And I kind of feel like it's possible that they will show up for you. Like you will still hear from them and they will still be in your life. Like I feel like both of you are maybe pretty like intelligent or intellectual, or kind of like, you know, like you're a very logical person. You're not very like emotional. I'm just getting this kind of like a bit distant, smart vibe from these two cards here. Out of interest, I pulled a clarifier for the King of Swords. So we have the Page of Wands here. So pages are about, you know, they can be about messages and action. So I do feel like your person will probably end up doing something, like maybe they will message you or actually, you know, do something like come and meet you if you are in a long distance relationship or something like that. So yeah, I definitely feel like this is not over. They will show up in your life within the next few months. Also, out of interest, excuse me, I checked the bottom of the deck. So we have the Six of Swords here. And the Six of Swords is about kind of like leaving something behind that is no longer working for you. And it's about going towards a more hopeful future. So we have two of these cards of leaving something behind. So I definitely feel like there's something positive in store for you. But it has possibly something to do with this relationship or with this person. But that remains to be seen. You know, things can always change and you can also choose to act if you wish to do that. But yeah, this is what the cards tell us right now, okay? And lastly, I pulled 3 oracle cards for advice from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle card deck. I pulled these 2 cards, Perseverance and Mysticism. And from the Sigil Oracle card deck, we have a card called Cognizance. So these 2 cards, we have the Orange Chakra, Sacral Chakra, and Third Eye. So I feel like you are being asked to kind of like tune into your emotions and balance your emotions, as well as kind of like tune to your inner voice, to your intuition. So Perseverance, this card is about kind of like not giving up and on like continuing to work on achieving emotional balance and just getting things back on track. And so it's a card that advises you not to get discouraged. So it's possible that that is what you need in this relationship or this connection, this situation, whatever is happening. Like first you tap into yourself, into your emotions. If there's any imbalances, you work on fixing those, maybe like through journaling, therapy, anything like that. So first, don't give up on yourself. And secondly, you could be don't give up on this connection, whatever is going on, if that resonates with you. And then we have this card called Mysticism, which is about kind of trusting the unknown and trusting your own intuition. So it's kind of about like knowing the answers within already. But I feel like to do that, first you need to work on your emotions, so your sacral chakra, because when your, you know, like the lower chakras are out of balance, in that case you can't really trust the upper or higher chakras. So first you have to do the lower work, like grounding, getting in touch with your emotions, getting in touch with your sense of self and your willpower, and after that you start going higher, and eventually you are able to kind of like tune into your inner being, universal powers, anything like that. And then lastly, cognizance. It's a card for learning and being aware and turning all that you learn, all that you experience into wisdom eventually in time. However, at this point it's just a process of kind of like learning. So it could be that this whole experience here is a learning experience. Maybe that's what it was for you, and it's possible that it is that for you in the future as well. So I always feel like, you know, the most important thing in life is to be curious, get to know yourself, get to know other people, you know, kind of keep your eyes open. Like anything that happens is a learning experience, you know. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I really hope that this reading provided you with some insight. Thank you so much for watching pile number 3, and if you feel called to do so, please like and comment. I always appreciate you interacting with my videos and interacting with me. I always reply to comments. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. I really appreciate it. So if you feel called to do so, subscribe. Of course, if you don't feel called to do so, you are not forced to do that. But so like I said, thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, bye bye.